Hey, so I was watching YouTube and I have opinions. We'll do introductions later in the video. But I have opinions. So I'm a musician. I'm what you would call a guitar loser or a bedroom musician, whatever the fuck that means. So I'm watching YouTube videos, and I think I was watching Rick Beato at the time. Yeah, I was watching Rick Beato, and I asked myself, what Rick Beato used to be a professor of music, undoubtedly super educated about music and the music industry in general. And it got me thinking, because there's two types of content that I watch on YouTube. One is the very educated authorities on music, and two, it's people that know nothing about music, but they react to music and give their opinions. Now, Rick Beato gives his opinions on music, and just normal everyday people give their opinions on music. Usually people that don't really know much about music, they don't play an instrument or anything like that. The video title will be something along the lines of middle-aged mom listens to fucking Kanye West for the first time. And it's like unbelievable, because it's like, how have you not heard this song? Or it's like you see some black dudes in a video and they're like, oh, two black dudes listen to Linkin Park for the first time, and you're like, that's good content. I like it. But it got me thinking, where is the middle ground? You know what I mean? People like me, I like to call myself a guitar loser, or trying to think of a new term for it. Bedroom musician, music losers, I don't know. I like to call myself a guitar loser. But where's the middle ground? Because on YouTube, if you're any part of the music community on like Reddit and YouTube, I'm sure you know this. There's so many people that are on the internet and they call themselves guitar teachers or piano teachers or ex-teacher. And it's like, okay. And usually they introduce themselves as, hey, my name is blah, 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 and I graduated the Berklee College of Music. I got a master's degree in blah, 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 music theory, blah, blah. And then this is a statistic that I'm going to pull out of my ass right now, but it's like 98% of all musicians are quote unquote bedroom musicians. People that love music, that listen to music a lot, decided to pick up an instrument, dedicate their lives to this instrument, but never decided to step on a stage or join a band or play for thousands, hell, even hundreds or 5 people in a room. Like, we never do that. Where is the middle ground here where it comes to musician exposure on social media and YouTube and everything? Are you not taken seriously as a musician unless you are formally educated in it? If you can just recite, music theory off the top of your head, does that make you less of a musician? Does that make you, I don't know. It's just weird. There's no middle ground, it seems like, on YouTube. There's no bedroom musicians making YouTube videos is what I'm getting at. And I feel like that needs to change, because I feel like 98% of people that dedicate themselves to an instrument are self-taught, and they just do this shit for the love of the game. It's just passion of music, And I feel like there's unique perspectives to be had there. And yeah, that's kind of what this channel is. It's just taking people along with my journey and kind of accountability, because if you're a bedroom musician or a guitar loser, like I like to call myself, you know what it's like. Like, I've been a musician for a very long time, and I say very long time, but everything's relative. I started playing piano when I was about 7 years old, and I mostly played classical piano, self-taught, lots of YouTube tutorials when I was a kid. And I kind of just fell in love with music, and then eventually I found the guitar. My friend let me play his, and I just never went back. I miss piano sometimes. But that's just what this channel is going to be. I'm going to be a middle ground. I have opinions on music. I have an opinion on musicians. I have an opinion on instruments. And I feel like even though I'm not like some educated authority, or I'm not just some guy that knows nothing about music experiencing things for the first time, I feel like there's a middle ground where most of us fit in, but there's very little representation of us normal people on YouTube. And I don't want to say normal people, us bedroom musicians on YouTube, and I seek to be that. So yeah, I have opinions on stuff. We'll see where this goes. I'm kind of using this as a form of accountability as well, because if you're a bedroom musician like me, you know what it's like being a musician. You start off, you play every day, and then maybe a year or two pass by, life happens, you stop playing. So I've been a musician since 7 years old, but I've definitely taken some lengthy breaks from music, playing music, as far as instruments go. But the longer you spend away from your instrument, the more you start to love it, and then you come back, and then you make a lot of progress, and then life happens, you stop playing, and then that's just normal. I feel like that's normal for everyone, but we only hear about, musicians that have been playing since they're 5, they played every day, they never stopped. It's like, that's cool, that's inspiring, that's something to work towards, but that's not all of us, and that's not everyone. So, yeah. Actually, hold on. Forgot. I'm new to this YouTube thing. You're not legit on YouTube unless you're holding an instrument in the thumbnail and talking about it that way. I'm just, why am I about to play this? It's not plugged in. So, just on a side tangent, just to give you a taste of things that I'm going to be talking about on this YouTube channel. There's a channel that I watch called Charles Cornell. He's a pianist, jazz pianist, and he's formally educated and everything. And he had a video some years ago, and it was talking about, I think it was Harry Styles and that song Watermelon Sugar, if I remember correctly. So he was doing a reaction to that. Again, this side of the spectrum, where educated in music and giving their opinions on music. And he said something along the lines of, he was frustrated by the song, like most musicians are when it comes to pop music, which I'll never understand. Well, I do understand, but I've grown past that now. Where he said, the song sucked, and this is how you make it better. And his version of making the song better was doing what jazz musicians do. They added chord extensions to stuff. So chord extensions, he's playing an A major chord. He was like, that's not good enough. It has to be an A major 7, A major 9, a 7 add 9, add 13 type chord. So he was basically just doing ridiculous chord extensions over this song. He switched out a few of the chords for what he thought was better. And I remember him getting ripped a new one by everyone in the comments saying, dude, the song's great, the song's fine. And you think just because you went to school for music to do jazz, that if you just added chord extensions to everything, that all of a sudden the song is quote unquote better. You didn't make it better, you actually made it worse. And now it just sounds like it's trying too hard and a little too pretentious. And I agree with that. And I feel like every musician, even us bedroom musicians, us guitar losers, everyone goes through that phase. Once you start learning about music, you kind of want to just throw it in everything and overuse it and show, oh, this is what I know. Show people what you know. But I mean, that's not really the spirit of music, is it? You have bands like Nirvana and Red Hot Chili Peppers and Foo Fighters, people that never went to school for music, and they end up making some of the best music. And I've seen it the other way too, where I know people that are formally educated in music, and when it's time to make their own music, they don't make anything that anyone wants to listen to. You know what I mean? So it's this weird thing with knowledge. When you're burdened with knowledge, you just want to show it off and you just want to use it, and you tend to insert it in places where it doesn't even belong. And I know when I was younger and I was starting with piano, because I only played classical piano for a long time, and I used to think, oh, the only music that's real music is Beethoven and Bach and Mozart and all of these composers that I used to try to play their songs. I think I did pretty well. I did pretty well back then. But I would learn their songs and say, oh, anything else other than this sucks. Like pop music sucks, rock music sucks, rap music sucks. It all sucks because this is the real music. Fucking Beethoven, Furry Lee's, hell yeah. And I feel like the more you know about music, you kind of get lost in the sauce, and then you have to have this balancing act where you're just like, oh, music isn't just about flexing your education or what you know. It's also about just enjoyment and passion, really. And it's hard to have that if you're talking down to other genres and stuff like that. I feel like we all go through that, at least in some capacity. I think I'm reformed. I enjoy all music. I can find beauty in every genre of music. And I know most people say, oh, I listen to everything. And then you ask them, do you know about Five Finger Death Punch? And they're like, what the fuck is that? It's like, I actually do listen to a lot of stuff, but we'll get into that as this channel grows. But yeah, it's one of those things where, and I don't want this to be misconstrued like, oh, music theory, you don't need it, which I do believe that you don't need it, but it helps a lot. Because I know on the other end of the spectrum where it's, oh, music theory dampens your creativity, it makes you less creative. It's like, for some people, but for me, for example, the most progress I ever made on any instrument was when I started implementing music theory into my playing, and you just like skyrocket and you improve, and then you start making more interesting things. But of course, like I said, I know people that are educated in music and they don't make anything good that anyone would want to listen to. So just because you have a formal education doesn't mean you'll make good music. And the other side is, just because you have music as an education doesn't mean it's going to ruin your music either. So it's just like a weird balancing act. But yeah, I think that's it for this video. I can rant about shit all day, but this channel, long story short, is just to have a middle ground. You know what I mean? People that dedicate their lives to an instrument, years and decades of their life, just out of passion, not for a job, not because they went to music school and they had to finish for a degree or a piece of paper that says, oh, you're an authority now. I feel like bedroom guitarists deserve to have a voice. So we'll see how this goes. This is an accountability project for me too. Because yes, I'm a bedroom musician and I kind of want to be a little more than that, you know? In my area, there's plenty of places you can go to do open mics and to step on a stage. I want to practice doing that, practice playing in front of people, in front of a camera, stuff like that, be better. But I feel like there's a place at the round table for just your average everyday musician. I feel like 98% of musicians are bedroom musicians, and we can be represented a little better. So I have opinions. I have opinions on things, opinions on music, opinions on genres, opinions on artists, opinions on instruments, and this is just me sharing them. So if you're interested and want to see where this goes, like, subscribe. I don't have any fucking videos right now. If I was smart, I would upload this video and like 2 or 3 others at the same time just to see how it goes. But yeah, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace, hopefully.